to set everything up and try and take the pictures yourself. But
yeah, this so far the only thing I've been able to has really affected me, and I do that anyway, is washing my hands, and I have figured that wasn't enough to do very much. Hey, look, there's Shelley.
Hey.
And John.
And I'm going to be such a better hand washer in this new world.
When we come out of it. Yeah.
I actually have to, in the first 10 minutes while people are trying to log on, you guys, usually we start about 5 minutes after. I just got home from an assignment.
So you're going to go wash your hands?
No, I'm just going to, I got to edit. They are bringing in beds to the SSU gym. So I've got to get them 1 or 2 photos before we start. So I'm editing now. I heard it. No, not that one. Darn it.
What's for dinner, Shelley?
Chocolate.
Oh. I could see her munching away there.
Here, you guys, wait, I'll do this. Watch. So I'm going to share my screen. So while I'm editing, you guys might as well just see what I'm doing. I'll show you.
Oh, nice.
There we go. So I discovered I was going to be actually late for the meeting, but I discovered that they switched this story from the lead story in the paper to a secondary. And that means that the picture will be tiny at the bottom of the page. So I only need, oops, I don't know what I just did there. There we go. I only need, I sent out a bunch of photos of them taking out furniture out of the dorms. People are going to get tested at SSU, and then if they show symptoms and are awaiting tests, they actually get to spend time in the dorm rooms there. But if they end up being discovered that they do have COVID, then they have these 110 beds that they're setting up in the gym at SSU. So I'm in RAW now, using Camera Raw in Photoshop, and I'm doing these adjustments. So here it was a little yellow when I first started. So I'm going to pull that down. That looks good. Little whites are a little much. We're just waiting for people to join as people join here, and I have to get one photo out. Let's do that. Okay. There's my image. I think I'm going to come in a little bit over here. A little bit from the bottom. Okay. Before I do anything, I realize that this bright spot in the corner. So what I like to do usually before I start to do anything in Photoshop, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to just burn it. So like you do in the dark room, this is the burn tool. And so I'm going to go in here. Oops. Oh, I'm in shadows. Midtones. And I usually like to have this at about 10 or 12%. And then I'm going to just darken this corner down before I do anything. And under here, because your eye tends to go to the darkest part or the brightest part of an image. So your eye usually goes straight to the lightest spot. And so we want to direct the eye and make them go where we want them to go. So if I darken that down, then sort of the middle of her mask becomes the brightest spot on that. It's still a little yellow, so I'm going to add a little bit more blue. I'm going to go in there and just make sure that she's dodged out. So you see, I just brighten her up a little bit. I don't mind if the people behind her are a bit darker, but she's my first subject, so I want her to be nice and bright. And then at the end, I think I described this before, I do a little, typically on nearly every photo, I do a really heavy feather, and then I draw an edge around the outside of my image. Sort of, it's a random edge with a really big feather. So let me see. If I do that, that's what the feather looks like. So it softly comes in. And now I'm going to inverse that. And I'm going to hide my little marquee lines to show me what I'm doing. But I'm going to go over here, and first I'm going to take the whites, and I'm going to, so look what happens. See what happens? So I'm just doing the edges. So I'm going to do that a little bit on the whites, and then I'm going to take the midtones and go down a little bit darker. So now watch the difference. Oh, that wasn't very dramatic, but it brings the eye in to the subject, just having that little thing. And Ansel Adams used to do a 10% burn around each of his images. So the last thing I do is I have a hue, saturation and sharpness action set up, so that I just press this one button down at the bottom, and it sharpens it and adds a little bit of saturation to it. So our naming constraints, I'm going to go here into my desktop. I've got to save it. What's the date today? 14th. JB0414 SSU. And I've already put in, I think, like 11 photos from this morning. So I'm going to do SSU 12. Save to desktop. How many of us are in now? Let's see. I just have to write a quick caption and then we'll start. The captions are boring now. Let's see. Is it there? I lost my image. Did I save that to the desktop? Okay, sorry. So for the people logging in, I had to do an assignment really late. Oh, that's why. I forgot to actually press OK. So I have to just quickly get out a single image to the newspaper. And I'm going to select that one, and then I go to my metadata. And my slug's already in this because I already have the caption I put on all these anyway. So we're going to stick with soldiers with the National Guard. Where's my thing? Okay. Set up.
I have an unrelated question. Do y'all know dogs can eat avocado?
The pit.
Not the.
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Good to know.
No. I mean, they will find them in yards and eat them, but no, don't purposely feed them to them.
Okay.
Never an onion.
And they can't eat onion either?
Oh, no, 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 no.
Really?
No onions for the dogs, ever, never.
Wow,
No onions.
it's good to know.
Oops. 80 beds, our gym. Lowest enough for government work. And so what we do, I'm going to apply that. So the way we send in is through Dropbox. I wonder if I'm still logged on. We'll find out. So we have two different places. Our archive is called Merlin Unisys, and it is loading. And then this one down here, actually, with that slug, it's going to attach to the story. So the page designer who's at their house will see it and be able to attach it to the story and knows it goes with the story. Okay. All right, we're all 5:35. Close enough. We have 3 people presenting today. Who wants to go first? Let's see, who's there? Okay, Michaela. Hey, let me make sure, sorry. Reactions, okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna, our chat. Heather, do you still have an issue?
No, that was
Okay.
me. It's embarrassing.
Okay.
I'm good.
Look at me. So what we're gonna do is, again, I'm gonna go through the photos that we saw this week. The pandemic stuff looked really good. I don't think people got the balancing light at sunset for the most part, and I'm guessing that's my explanation. And then, so with this next assignment, it's actually even more complicated than that balancing at sunset assignment. So what I've done is I've done 3 different ways of trying to explain it to you. First, the book in the flash section is really, really good at explaining what this is about and how that flash works. So there is those 2 pages, page 218 and 219, that are key. So you have to read that page. Secondly, Shelley, the lovely Shelley, agreed to help out last night, and we did the jumping test with her daughter. So I'm just probably an hour away from finishing that video. So I'm gonna have probably close to a 30-minute video that explains how to set your flash. So Sean borrowed a flash earlier, and so at the beginning, it has 3 different flashes that I'm showing you how to do that. And then it takes you through a little more complicated thing about a flash off camera. You don't really have to do that. That's sort of an advanced thing for people. And then finally, you'll see the video of the jumping test and the results of the jumping test and what you're looking for. And then that's 2 ways, the book and the video. And I'll send you all a link to the video tonight. The third way is in your assignment, not in the one I sent you by email the other day, but in the assignments on Canvas, I've done a large description of exactly how to do it. So before you had just do the jumping test, and now there's going to be 1 through 11 or something, pick the right spot, set the camera to this, that kind of thing. So it's a step-by-step thing. But again, it's complicated because of the variations with the flash and how much power they're going to output. But hopefully between those 3 things, we can figure this out. The second thing I want to just mention about this assignment is that if you know other people in the class and are okay with, you can stay 6 feet apart in this assignment pretty much, you can work together and produce just 1 set of images. So Luke and Marilyn like to do everything together so they can just be each other's subjects. So just in case you guys know people in the class and want to use them, that'd be great. And you can just submit 1 set of images, okay? Does anybody have any questions about? Yeah, go ahead, Azelia.
For the last assignment, the one where we were balancing the light, I found it really difficult to find a building that had lights on, especially since everything is like shut down right now. So I was wondering if you had any advice about that. I want to reshoot it because I didn't get the best score on it.
Absolutely. And again, that was one of those things after sending you out to do it. And as a new teacher, then what's great is I get to learn what I did wrong. you know. And so it turns out I probably should have sent you to like a fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
So like I'm thinking those, and ideally, and I forgot to mention this too, ideally you're pointing directly into the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
when
that
it
was my
happens-
question, because I was pointing away from the sunset, and I was like, am I supposed to capture clouds? But then there weren't clouds; they were like bad skies.
Exactly.
So I
Go
should
ahead,
have been
Heather.
pointing towards the sunset.
One thing that's been helpful that you did before is that you, with the assignment, you like on the one we did portraits with different kinds of lighting, you provided visual examples. Because like when we left our Zoom meeting, I was like, I totally get it. And then I got to the place and I was like, wait, how is the sunset supposed to be compared? It was a little bit hard to remember. So if I had just a visual example that said like, see how the sky is this and the artificial light is this,
I'm realizing that that's the key, is that if I just say it in class, it's complicated and it's hard to reinforce it. So that's why I went this time and did the whole written part of it. And then you'll have the video that has all the examples. So you can take the written piece with you to the shoot just in case, but study the video first. Especially the parts that are useful. Again, if you don't want to deal with the off-camera flash, it's just kind of a little extra. So,
John, for the new assignment that you're going to send the video out, I think you mentioned this in the video, but in case it doesn't come up, about location for that one, because like I was scouting for you and I wasn't quite right, and we found that other spot and it was like wide open. So I think that should be explained, because I think.
Yeah, so that's the first step in the written description, is that what you want is a spot. Usually it's just outside of town, or like the junior college football, not the football field, but the play fields may have worked. But what you're looking for is an area, ideally, actually, what you're looking for is a little tiny hilltop where you can point upwards a bit, but there's all sky when your camera is down on the ground. So you don't want big trees up there or anything like that. So the rural cemetery over here next to the junior college has a little hilltop that works well. Unfortunately, it would be parks and things like that are the best spots. Heather?
So is a wide angle lens ideal for this?
Yeah, exactly. So it says wide angle lens, and you're at 200 to 400 or so ISO. Again, that's going to vary some. Before we go any farther, can somebody tell me how I can see people raising their hand? Does anybody know that?
There might be like a gallery view, because I can see like everyone.
I see everybody.
I can too, but I think there's like Abraham. There's like three people who aren't, 4 people who aren't on video. But I want them to be able to raise a hand and ask. Oh, there we go.
Well,
Heather Murray raised a hand. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just under, if you click on participants,
Okay.
there are different things, like you can,
There we go. I got it
you can
now.
do this.
Thank
Can
you.
see everybody, John?
Good.
And
Can I?
lower.
No, some people have their mics off, but that's fine. Can somebody raise their hand so I can see what that looks like?
Like
Oh,
physically.
sorry, on the screen. There we go. Okay, so I'll be watching for those as we progress, you guys. So thank you.
How do you raise your hand on the screen? I don't get it.
No, it's just like a thumbs up.
Oh, a
click on
thumbs up. Okay.
Click on participants. If you click on participants, then a thing comes up, and on the bottom left it says raise hand.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, I was going to reaction, but
And then
You guys
after
get
you
it?
click,
Yeah,
if you click on it again, it lowers.
or gets and it gets rid
Okay.
of it.
It's right here. I just raised my hand there.
That's great. So that's going to be important because I have a tendency to ramble on, right? So if especially, just speak up most of the time, but if not, just raise that hand and I'll keep that up from now on, but I can manage the participants. It says yes, no, go slower, go faster for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Great. So anyway, the key is picking that location and sort of no trees, flat. The person that's jumping, you ideally want them to jump into pure sky. And you'll see that on the video, how that works. Okay?
So, well, I'll tell you guys, we did the outskirts of Coffee Park, So if anybody wants to know where we went, I can send you a pin for that.
Oh, that'd be great.
And then I was on my bike on East Side Road today. So if you really want to drive out on East Side Road, if you pull off in one of the little like somebody's little property, like a winery property, and just park, it's all open behind there with like a little hill. So
it is, huh? Even like if you went to the entrance of, is it Riverside Park?
Riverfront.
Riverfront Park.
Yeah.
If you put your car right at the gate and walked, because it's pointing down, that wouldn't be a good spot. But if you went down to the road and just aimed up, I think you have a pretty good view out there.
All along that road, East Side Road, it was good today. Like I was like, oh, I'd even come back out here, and I already know where to go here. So.
And again, if you see the, when you see the example, you'll know what you're looking for. And the key to it is your camera is very low to the ground too. So a wide angle, very low to the ground. Any other questions?
I thought we were not supposed to be in the parks.
Well, that one, you can go in 15 feet and you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, not in the park. Riverfront Park, the parking lot's actually farther in, so you can be on the road.
Yeah, I think that little entry road isn't officially parked.
I think there's actually a gate that they have closed right at the beginning of the entrance road.
So what I'm saying is just park right at the gate and walk around it, and you can do it on that road going to the park down below.
Yeah,
next
or
to the
even
vineyard.
go down the road. I was on my bike today. There's lots of wineries and stuff where you can pull off. Like I was scouting it out. So just go down the road like a mile or two, and there's lots of spots.
And again, work with each other. And I think I mentioned in there that the idea is that the reason why we have them jump is because you're going to see a little motion in a shadow behind them when you do this. And so, I like the cat. So if a subject can't jump, which, you know, it took a lot out of Shelley. Luckily, she brought her daughter, so she had to do the majority of the work.
I actually didn't want to jump. I just brought a sacrificial lamb. I didn't want to jump.
She was awesome, though, and dressed in the right colors, as you will see. But if you can't jump, just have the person make sure their arms are in the frame, but just move like this a little bit when you shoot. Because I just want you to see what happens, because the flash goes off for 1,000th of a second. And then if you think about it, all you're seeing of them when you're looking up at the sky is a silhouette. So they're completely black in the camera. So when they move, you're gonna see the black of the rest of the ambient exposure is gonna create this little haze around them. And it's a really cool effect. So we wanna sort of see how you get that effect too. So, but it's gonna be a really, hopefully between the three of them, you guys get it, okay? Go ahead, Heather. Oh, I unmute.
Okay. Should I just use the flash that's connected to my camera then, if I don't have a flash?
I would borrow one from me, if you're okay with that. So Sean just told me when he was going to come by, and I'm here a lot, so I'll just leave it out for you. But it'll have more power, and you'll just put it on your hot shoe, okay? Now, in the demos, I'm doing a lot of them off camera. There is a short demo showing you what it looks like on camera, but I just sort of showed you the fancy one off camera. Carl, you had a question?
Yeah, but I already asked it.
Okay. Oh, your hand's still raised, so.
Oh, do I have to take it down then?
All right. Can I do it? Let's see. Wait, don't do it.
Every time I roll over it, it says mute and more.
Oh, I'm good. Lower hand. I'm good. Great.
So when I click on.
Okay. So what I'd like to do, what I'd like to do for the class is, again, we have 3 presentations, so that's going to take some time. Between the 3 presentations, I'm going to show you the images that we submitted this week, okay? So, Michaela, do you know how to, don't forget to unmute, and then press share screen at the bottom?
At the bottom?
The green, do you see a little green share screen?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Press that, and then you're going to take control. So whatever's on your screen is going to, everybody's going to see it.
And a shared desktop.
Yeah. As long as you're, so do you want to have your presentation up on the desktop? And then you'll still see the Zoom part, but we'll see just your desktop. So don't have anything embarrassing up there.
Okay. Does it show it at all?
Just press the green button and let's see what happens.
Okay, it's saying access denied.
Let's see. Let me find you over here and see if there's a, does anybody know if there's a?
Oh, I need to allow it in system preferences.
Okay. So what we'll do, Michaela, is we'll come back to you for the second one. Who else is making a presentation today? Okay, Azelia, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I've never done it before, so I'll see if mine works too.
We'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Then, Michaela, you go ahead and figure out the system preferences. If you have issues, I'll help. Are you Mac or PC?
Can you guys see it?
Awesome.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, so I kind of did it different. I put quotes on the pages, but I'm actually going to read what I wrote.
Awesome.
But this will give you something to look at while I'm doing my other thing.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I chose Paul Nicklen because a few years ago I was a TED Talk junkie. I used to watch them all the time, and I came across his. I was in tears by the end of the talk. He was so passionate and devoted to his work. It's impossible not to see that when you look at his photos. I've followed him ever since. Paul grew up in Canada, and when he was 4 years old, his family moved to the Baffin Islands near Greenland. His family was one of the 3 non-Inuit families there. There were about 200 people in total where he lived. It was then he became obsessed with the polar realm. Paul took his first picture when he was 8 or 9. Despite not having TV or any technology, his mom had a dark room. They developed the photos together, and it was the process that fascinated him. Paul puts himself in extreme conditions to get the photos he wants. When he finally encountered the spirit bear, he spent 3 days sleeping nearby. He gets extremely close to apex predators. He spends hours in 29-degree water. One time he pitched a tent on ice that broke off and drifted to sea. He had to wait until it drifted back to shore for him staying calm is a matter of life and death. Paul has some extra credibility as a wildlife photographer because he studied biology at the University of Victoria. Sometimes Paul would bring photos to his teacher that he had taken of animals they were experts on, but had never seen in real life. Because of his background, Paul can see changes and understand them scientifically. This is a really interesting story about when a 7,000-pound breeding elephant seed bull attacked him, and I think it was his closest near-death experience. Let me move to the next one. Paul mainly works for National Geographic and has co-founded a conservation organization called Sea Legacy. His mission is to expose the reality of climate change by showing the ice melting in polar regions and connect people's emotions to the animals and lives that depend on those ecosystems. Are you guys able to read what I posted, or should I move on? Or leave it there? Sorry, John, I can't hear you.
I'm going to unmute so I can say, no, it's great. I like the way you're doing it, is that while you're talking, I'm listening to you and I'm also reading your captions. I think it's a really lovely way of doing it. So thank you.
Yeah. All right. I just don't want to move too fast.
Yeah.
Paul believes that his camera is the greatest weapon in defense of our most vulnerable species and environments. Not only does he focus on the animals, but also sheds light on the changing planet by capturing entire ecosystems. This one's kind of long, but in a world flooded with news on climate change, Paul remains optimistic. I cannot afford to let myself down. The only emotion that is stronger than fear is hope, and that is what I hold on to. That is the emotion I try to inspire in other people. If you ask Paul on how to photograph wildlife, he'd say, it's time in the field. Whenever you think you've waited long enough, double that. In other words, it's patience, patience, patience. One example, Paul waited 3 months in a forest only to spend 3 days with the spirit bears. For me, as an animal enthusiast who is deeply saddened by the climate crisis, photographers such as Paul Nicklen do inspire hope and awe. I recommend looking deeper into his work, as there are many photos not presented here that are worthy of viewing. Thank you for listening. And that's it.
Yay! That was awesome.
Thank you.
Way to go. Thank you so much.
Oh, and I did one of all of the sources.
Oh, great.
I don't know if you guys need that, but you could screen grab it.
Great, I will. Hold on a second. Beautiful. I love the way you presented that. That was great. Especially you guys, I really, didn't you love that page of just all black and whites?
Oh, yeah.
Showed? Those were just, every single one is an incredible image. And so, you know, for the presentations coming up, if you have one, yeah, just the more images, the merrier for me. I just want to see the people's work. I think it's fascinating. I love the way, you know, just writing it out and reading behind it is great. That's wonderful.
And I just stopped sharing. Okay, cool.
There you go.
Yep,
Thank you.
we go. I did it.
So I'm going to grab the screen now, and let's do the pandemic last. So let's see what happened with sunset light. So I only put a few peoples in here who figured it out. And again, it's my fault. I believe I didn't tell you enough, but let's look at this. Is Anna originally shot one without the sunset in it. So she just was shooting a wall that was lit by a night light. But you see here that the bulbs are actually on, right? So if we just sit and wait, those bulbs are gonna get brighter and brighter, and the sky is gonna get darker and darker, and at some point they're going to balance. The problem is without any lights, like if the Barlow sign was lit up, that'd be really great too. But again, I think you're right in that I should have probably suggested, driven around and suggested more places. Surprisingly, like grocery stores are really good. Probably the In-N-Out burgers, both of the one in Santa Rosa and Roanoke Park would be really good. So if you want to try to reshoot, there'll be no penalties for reshooting for this one since it was mostly me. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, one thing that made it tough is I was waiting and waiting for streetlights to go on. And by the time they went on, it was really dark.
Right.
Like there was just no light.
And I think that's why we needed, I needed to direct you to places with a large amount of light, like those, I think the fast food restaurants, Coddingtown Mall, maybe, yeah. The little, if you shot the Coddingtown Mall, you know, the whole front with BJ's and all that, they'll have neon there. Does that make sense? And if you shot that same kind of angle, hold on. So think about the mall, where am I? This one. So when you think about this shot here that I showed you before, imagine the Coddingtown Mall would have the same sunset light back there. And if you use BJ's in the front of the mall, I think you'd see lots of neon and the sunset. And again, the key is to just place that tripod down, and you'll have to wait till at least 20 minutes past sunset. The jumping test, actually, you're going to go to probably 40 minutes past sunset. So be prepared. You're going to have to spend a little time, okay? Let me go back to the other one. Okay. This is Shelley's, and so what I think is that for this one, it's just a little bit too early. Did you continue to shoot, Shelley?
You know, I did. So the sunset was 7:42 this night, and this is at 8 o'clock exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I may have gone to like 8:02, but this is at 18 minutes after sunset. Away from, facing east.
Right. You're facing east instead of west towards the sunset, right? And I think that that's the thing, is that there's not much separation between the two kinds of light at this point of the day. So again, with this technique, I usually point straight at the sunset, and I did not make that clear. So. Okay. This is Sean's. If you guys were to make this better, does anybody have a suggestion?
I would shoot towards, like, at an angle towards the garage doors, like, so I get a row of one side of garage doors, maybe.
But let's imagine we had complete control of this, of all these houses.
The top lights would be on, maybe, if I had complete control. Yeah.
Especially that house on the end. If you turn on all the lights on the house on the end, you see how that it would work really well. And that's, I think, when I described it to you, that I had in that one Grand Cru place, we turned on all the lights, so I had control over the situation. And you know, as somebody from a magazine, they're gonna, you know, people will do that for me, and I know it's different when you're just a student. But again, if you want to try it, you know, find places with. So that's another version a little earlier. Oops. And here's, this is Azalea's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, she's shooting, it's too early. So, and I'm not sure that this is not probably a good example, because there aren't going to be any interior lights on. If you had...
There's like these lights. I don't know if you can see, there's these lights on the building that are happening.
So again, if
I like totally messed up, and I thought that it was we were supposed to shoot between like 20 minutes before sunset. So I shot like all the way up until sunset, and then I was like, okay, I got it. But I was looking, that was like an example of like, if you had maybe written it on the assignment, I would have remembered, but because I just heard it in class, I was like, oh, I think this is what I was supposed to do. And then
I'm a dodo. Yeah. It's me. So,
it's okay.
So what I'm thinking, I'm thinking we might, okay, well, I'll figure it out next week. But this would have actually, now that I see those lights, I hadn't really seen them before, this probably would have been a good subject. And what would have been really great is if they had an event in there and those two doors were open. Mm-hmm. And then light was coming out, because you would see the little horse it'd be really dark up where the top of the spire is. So this would have been a great subject, especially on a night where they had an event and you had doors open. So.
Azelia, is the sunset to the left of this photo?
Like it's like behind me.
It's behind you, okay.
And I also, on the other side of the barn, there's like tons of telephone wires. And it's just not pretty. Like there was all this stuff in the way. And this was like the better looking side of the barn. So I chose this side knowing that I probably should have used the other
So I'm
side.
guessing the light up there at the top below the weather vane, that's the sunset reflecting off of the metal up there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
It still may have worked even pointing away from the sun. I'm not sure, but there could have been a balance point where it worked fine. So good. Luke's not here and Marilyn's not here. This is Heather's. So this one really worked, right? This shows the balance. It's probably just a tiniest bit too late. The sky maybe is a tiny bit too dark, but it works. Heather, do you want to tell them your experience here?
Well, I have plenty where the sky is lighter. I really struggled to figure out exactly what the sweet spot was. And I was there for a very long time. I don't know exactly how late I was there, but it was quite a long time after sunset. So it was probably at least 40 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And but I think I wrote on there, it was such a really like meditative experience because I just had to sit there and stare at the sky for like 40 minutes. And it was kind of nice. But yeah, I'm trying to get the balance of this little office, and then I like the glowing red from the park closed sign.
What's the, where is that?
It's a kiosk at the entrance to Spring Lake.
Oh, great. Good idea. I love your thoughts on the meditative nature of the experience, and you'll find that a lot in photography that you just have to wait on it. And I think Azalea's description of Nicklen was great in that, you know, a lot of photographers, I think I mentioned when you did the feature photo that sometimes I'll just wait for somebody to walk by a spot, and it could be an hour and a half or 2 hours. And I remember our junior photographer, Beth at the paper, coming to me one time and just so proud that she had waited an hour and a half for somebody to walk by, you know, and because she's not usually that patient, but she got the shot and it was wonderful. So good. Okay, let's keep going.
Ooh,
Whose was
that
this
really
one?
nice.
I forgot. Oh, Carl. There you go, Carl. Where is this?
Downtown Petaluma Boulevard.
Okay. Which direction are you pointing?
No,
Away from the sunset, right?
toward the sunset. It was
Okay.
just an incredibly gray night. You mentioned in your comments that I was a little bit too late. I started probably a half an hour before sunset, and I was there for at least 20 minutes after. And I kept hoping to get some blue in the sky because I thought that was what you were looking for.
Yeah.
And that was as blue as it got. In fact, it wasn't even that blue. I helped it a little bit.
Yeah, the darn gray skies last week, really. It doesn't matter. If I go out with a subject for a sunset, there won't be a cloud in the sky. And then the next night, inevitably, there's going to be the sky filled with colorful, you know, the most colorful sunset ever. That's just the way it's going to work. Hey, Carl, can you tell me what happened at the bottom of the frame? There's some street
That's a
lights.
car driving by.
Huh?
That's a car driving by.
Great. And so do you see that effect too, you guys? I think I did one in the demo where I showed you that cars make a really cool effect too in front of as they drive through a scene at this time of night. And you can actually use cars, so people will use a windy road maybe with the sunset and balance the cars against it too.
And that looks like the bottom is cropped in some from the image I submitted.
I may have, oops. Let's see. Let me shrink this down a little bit, sorry. Get off of there. Come on. Oh, there we go. It's cropped off a little bit.
Yeah, see there's some of the street in front of it, and more of the lights.
Here, let me see.
If you scroll down a little bit, it did have a zoom in and out. If you move the
Right.
task thing down.
No, I'm not zoomed though.
No, I know, but if you where it says tasks down here, if you lower that, there was a zoom
Well,
in and
now-
out.
now you can see the
allow you to see
Oh
more.
yeah, I just can't get any more of the photo. So it may have been, I'm not sure why it got cropped.
Now you've got it up there with all that was there.
Okay, good. Yeah, it was just too low on my screen.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know what those little dotted lights are. I have
here,
no idea. They had something to do with that car driving by, but I have no idea what.
wait, these lights up here, Carl, or down
No,
here?
no, right.
Oh, these ones here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, yeah. Wonder what that is.
Yeah, who knows? I'm not quite sure. It has something to do with the car, for
Be a
sure.
fancy ring going by, getting a reflection or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah, that was the only place without driving all over the world that I could find that had lights on that looked like they would be lit up enough at night.
Isn't
I
it
think
crazy?
the dresses look really cool. It draws your eye.
Yeah. During COVID, you know, we're just, you know,
Well,
it's crazy. Nobody would turn on the lights because they're going to have to pay for it later. So I get it.
But the good news about that is there was virtually no traffic and there was nobody parked in front of this store.
Uh-huh.
Some guy drove up in an SUV and he stopped and he looked at me and then he backed up and he said, "Am I far enough out of the way?"
Uh-huh.
So I thought that was pretty nice of him.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm just reading a few comments here. Let's see. Jessica mentioned, isn't the Coddingtown Mall closed? What I'll do is tonight I'll drive. I'm only just 5 minutes away. I'm going to drive over and look at the Coddingtown Mall and In-N-Out Burger for you guys if I'm going to suggest those places, okay? And then, okay. Got a message there.
John, I have all the earlier ones that I shot. Do you want to see any of them?
Sure. Throw them up there if you're ready.
Oh, no,
Oh, yeah, or send them in.
Yeah, that's the only one I edited. But I'll do some of the others and just re-upload them to Canvas?
Yeah, that'd be great. And then
right.
Send, again, you guys, if you're gonna, I think I figured out how to view if you've submitted something afterwards. So I think I'm okay with that, but just double check and send me a message saying I've resubmitted something or submitted a reshoot. Azelia to everyone is mentioning the Taco Bell on Mendocino. Just put up a bunch of lights. I think that Taco Bell though has like a bunch of trees right behind it. Is my worry about that place. That you may not get the sunset, but it's right near me, so I'm gonna go look too. Everybody good? Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, Michaela, did you figure out can you do it?
Yeah, but it's gonna kick me out for a second.
Okay, go ahead and try. Do what you can. And Natasha, did you figure anything out? Unmute first, or type me a note. Alden looks like he's like, you know, out on a hike somewhere.
Was that Taylor Mountain?
It's a hill that I drove halfway up and then kind of like walked out. I think it's by the geysers, maybe.
Nice.
I have no idea though.
Oh,
I want to be there. It's good.
Probably Pine Flat Road, yeah. Or
Did you bring your cat with you?
You know, he's probably off causing trouble somewhere. It's, yeah.
My dog isn't one for, hey, you got it.
Oh, that worked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, so I got Ed Kashi. He's a National Geographic photographer. He was born November 16th, 1957. He's based in New York. He graduated from Syracuse University, and he's a photographer, filmmaker, and author. Equipment. He is dedicated to documenting the social and political issues that define our times. He's known for using mobile photography on Instagram for personal projects, an iPhone X, as well as his favorite camera, the Canon 5D Mark II, for assignments. And I learned that recently he's gotten a lot of criticism for using an iPhone from other photographers, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Michaela, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are you okay? What kind of criticism?
A few people I read on his website, I think it was written by somebody else though, and not him. They basically said that it's the whole thing about how it's not real photography if it's on a phone, and a few people have like shunned him, and it was like this whole dramatic thing. Yeah. But yeah.
Oops, yeah,
and
sorry to disturb you. Go ahead.
It's okay. He's most known for his war photography that has been published and exhibited worldwide. His project that centered around Vietnam won the UNICEF Photo of the Year and a World Press Award. He currently works at National Geographic, where he's produced 17 stories for the magazine and worked in over 90 countries. In 2014, he started his latest project called Newest Americans, which is a story on the current issues in immigration. He says it's an anthem for immigrants. After Trump's election, he says, "I was tired about all the false claims about immigrants. I wanted people to know they're not alone and that their voice is heard." He has recently finished that project. Right now, he's been working on his blog where he talks about day-to-day issues. They're on his website alongside photos he's taken on the subjects. His most recent work is on America's role in the current environmental issues. He plans to continue working on his blog, documenting what he sees in front of him, other than searching for things elsewhere. I tried to get in contact with him, but I didn't get a response, and I didn't want to keep emailing him after 3 times and be that person. And yeah, that's it.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So Ed, when I was coming up in photography, Ed was a San Francisco-based photographer and dated one of the people at San Francisco State. So I got to know him a little bit, and his work is incredible. You guys, the work that I especially like of his is from maybe 20 years ago, of the Kurdish experience in northern Iran. It's just the amount of time he spent there for National Geographic was incredible. So he's just, and his blog, I'm glad you mentioned that, Michaela. The blog is exceptional. The guy is so thoughtful about his work and what he does. Okay, I'm gonna grab the screen again. And I'm gonna close you down. I'm gonna go pandemic. And I kind of reversed the order so that we didn't have to, oh, no, I didn't. Here, I'll reverse it. We're gonna go backwards. There we go. Jessica, can you unmute it all? Are you there? Jessica? No? Oh, here, I can't see the chat when I'm in this mode, you guys, hold on. I'd like people to sort of describe what they, oops.
Jessica said her mic isn't working.
Okay, so we'll just sort of go from there. So these first images are Jessica's. You can totally tell that's her brother, right? Oops, where am I? How come? There we go.
Says that's not hers. Jessica says.
Oh, that was Marilyn. Sorry, Marilyn's brother. It looks just like Marilyn's brother. And Marilyn and Luke are covering a Board of Trustees meeting at the JC. So they're gonna. Boy, I hope I recorded this. Am I recording? Yes, I'm recording. So I'll post this whole session too. A lot of people walking dogs out there in the shots. I kind of love this one. Here again, if you look at this shot, let me pull it up a little bit. If you thought about the background a little bit more, where might you go for this shot? Anybody?
I would walk around, maybe feed to get those poles, those lines, those power lines out?
That may work.
Or
So think about where you want her in the frame. Where would you, when you look at it, I'm just sort of saying, you know, she's sort of really at the very bottom of the frame. Does anybody have another suggestion?
Yeah, don't you want her like in the air maybe with the sky behind her?
There you go. I think, let's see. Oh, I may have cut that photo out. Let me see. She did have a shot of her flying. And so, yeah, it would have been nice to have the sky, a silhouette even. But here too, if you wanted to go to the front angle, if you went lower and then her head would come up into the sky, that's probably a better angle for this one too. So I'm guessing she's shooting from exactly her height. So don't forget to get low, high, and try a weird angle sometimes. This is my favorite of the dog. She just looks bummed out that she's has to stay inside. And I'm gonna move this bar. Sorry, guys. Okay. There you go. Still Jess. Oh, here's Jessica now. Oops. Oh, come on. Sorry. Give me a second. So these are Jessica's. What is the one thing you guys notice about all these photos?
They're missing a human, maybe? Person?
But sort of the style of photo.
they're all close-ups.
Yeah, a lot of them are super close up.
And then what else? They're all the same in another way too. I'll do them fast so you see. They're all...
Oh, they're all portrait.
Yeah, they're all the iPhone mode. So all you youngsters out there that have been shooting with that iPhone so long, don't forget to turn it sideways, okay? Turn it horizontal sometimes. Like this photo, I think would have benefited a lot from having the neck in it, right? If you had the neck to the right in the photo, I think that'd be better. So don't lock yourself into one kind of image. I actually shoot way too many horizontals and not enough verticals myself. So I have the same problem, but in the kind of the opposite direction. And this one, of course, is my favorite. You know, it shows you a little bit more. It says COVID more with a mask. So, and Jessica, I wish I knew what this one is about. Just type us what this is about. I have no clue. Okay. And then Alden, can you unmute?
Yes.
And tell us what you did. You did it very different than anybody else.
Yeah, this is my very little edgy photo shoot that I did. I'd kind of thought back to I don't remember what the story was called, but it was the like lady with joint pain that you showed us who photographed herself.
Right. Mm-hmm.
She had that one shot from above her bed that I thought was awesome. So I wanted to make an excuse to take a picture like that. So I tried to get the sense of like emotions from quarantine, I guess. And
This one's cool. It's very cool.
yeah,
I like
they're
it
all
too.
very like sad and like,
Yeah, this is, you know, it's a little dark. Wait, where am I? Real quick, I'm just going to show you that here's my histogram, and you see it's all in the black area over here. These are the whites over here. So as I go this way, you know what I mean? I want to get you, and that's a little bit better. And you know, for the whole perspective. So I'm just brightening it up a little bit, and I think you got it. Let me,
full disclosure, I thought about trying, but selecting all the little lines because I didn't know about the histogram seemed like a chore. But other than that.
And in this case, again, I might have put a moodier edge to it. So let's just see. I'll do that big wide thing, but I'll make it go kind of there. And I'll select the inverse. Just see what happens if we like it. because I like how moody the other shot was. So, oops, can't see anything here. Press OK. That make it better? I don't know. It's sort of a little too spotty what I did. If it were more random, I think it'd be a little bit better. But maybe you do something like that too.
For sure.
Maybe more of a feather too, John.
Yeah, that was an issue there. So, but I don't want to spend all your time doing that because we got to see Alden's moody shots here. Okay, let's tell us. Go ahead. How did you mount the camera?
Oh God, I took a picture. Maybe I can send it in, but I put a ladder on a desk and tied a long tripod, and it was like the camera was bowing down towards my face, and I was like, this might hit me, but it didn't. So.
Okay, the shot that you were trying to recreate of the lupus woman, same. She did the same thing. That was her. I pictured this giant ladder next to her bed, and it was great. So
both minds think alike.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you trigger the camera, Alden?
The like 10-second timer, and then it takes 5 pictures, so I could be like,
oh, you look around.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to tell me about the light on Alden? What do you think? Somebody chime in.
Well, it's window light coming from over there.
Over there. And what kind of light is it?
It's natural light window.
And remember, we lighting a face. Does anybody remember what we call the light hitting him? We call it 3/4 light. So you see that the light is coming across his nose and hitting his other eye, but then the shadow falls off on that far side. So he used that technique. Do you see how pretty this photo is? The lighting on this photo, it's just excellent. It's really excellent. You go straight to his face. And he used that window light perfectly. It was probably just the position of the bed. I'm sure you didn't move the bed, but that's what we're looking for, is stuff like that. So great job. Talk to me about this one.
This one, I got idea. I really I skateboard, and I've always loved those pictures of the skateboarding guy going like, it's like 100 of him in the same frame.
Mm-hmm.
And I did this one and ended up making that face, but it was pretty funny because it's kind of like, I'm so bored.
Is this 3 photos combined that you put in Photoshop? Okay. Good.
I don't know if that's allowed, but I figured it's like obvious enough that it's edited.
You guys get to do, especially with the pandemic thing, everything's allowed. It's all open, you know. Good. So were you just out for a bike ride?
Yeah.
And you had your tripod with you, or did you put it on something?
I planned to take a picture. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I just brought my tripod out.
Great.
Oh, cool.
Good. Is your car broken down? What's the thing here?
It's always broken. It rarely works, but that's the fun part, I guess.
I've seen Alden's car. It's what year is it?
73.
Awesome. The hair is especially great hair.
Thank you.
And what are you reading?
I think it's the National Geographic photo book. I think it was a quick one. So.
Good.
I love the calendar included, so it marks the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was focused on the photographer in the top of the thing. I didn't notice the exit.
Right. Fun little yellow.
Mm-hmm. And then tell me about, what was this one about?
I looked out my window and this mailbox had fallen down, and I thought it looked really like dystopian-y, and it was kind of at the beginning of all this, so I thought it looked cool.
What angle are you at?
Oh, I'm like on the ground.
Yeah. Did you lie down, or you just put the camera and look through?
No, never that. I was just like, I kind of guessed. It worked out pretty well.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm on the ground all the time. Okay. Heather? Talk to us. Are you there, Heather?
Yeah, sorry. I just forgot to unmute. But these were 2 kind of extras. We're starting, I think, from the bottom up.
Yeah.
And I just put in a couple of my pets because I just like, my cat's looking outside like longingly, and I kind of feel like that's how I feel sometimes. And then my dog, I feel like, is saying, "Are you ever gonna leave? could you just get out? That's what I saw her saying. So it was just silly, those 2 extras. These are the gloves I wear to the grocery store because I don't have fancy, good fitting ones. They're just like kitchen gloves, and I wash them every time I come back and hang them from the like vegetable holder. This was, I was walking by a school, and this was on the window of a classroom, but it was clearly there from before, but it had like special resonance. Like I feel like I need somebody to say those things to me, but it's not intended for during this pandemic. So it seemed kind of like powerful. This is a sign I put on our house, and I just seemed like I wouldn't have done that before.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Right.
I should now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're all appreciating people who deliver things.
I think it's wonderful. Did you see that there was a parade for the farm workers in like the Salinas Valley?
Oh, I didn't see that one. I've never been to many.
Applauded on the street as they, you know, I thought that was, yeah, to appreciate all the little things in life, you know, that we took for granted is pretty incredible.
Yeah. These are some signs like on the route where I walk my dog. And I've heard about people putting signs on their windows, but I hadn't really seen any. And the reflection is kind of rough, but I love the sign that says, have fun dealing with your family for a month. And it's like heart shaped, but it's also kind of like a little rib jab. And these, I've seen these rocks. I actually have seen more since then because I just kept walking that are more specific to this time. But this one is, I think, put in place for during this time, but it doesn't announce itself as that. But I just thought it was kind of like, made me happy.
Oh. Did you guys, I heard on the radio coming back from Sonoma State's assignment that KZST has a, what's it called? The Shock of Life, or I forgot what they name it something, but they're doing a gallery of chalk art and things like that, and they put up videos of kids doing it. It's lovely.
This one I thought was kind of powerful because it kind of looks like the grass is growing up around unused sports equipment. And so it just seemed like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, you know, I don't know if people maybe sit in those chairs still, but that they were empty seemed like significant, that maybe they're places where people would hang out, but they're too close together now.
I did a photo the other day of 2 women and their babies who had gone to the Mexican restaurant at 1 in the afternoon and got margaritas to go. And then on the way back, they saw their friend sitting there, or they walked by their friend's house, and the friend brought out chairs. So she was on her lawn and they were both in the street, more than 6 feet apart. And they had their margaritas and they were just hilarious. I did their photo and then they called and said, we realized that we look terrible, like terrible moms. So,
I applaud them.
Such a wonderful image too. They all look so happy, and you know, it's so great. I couldn't even use it. So. Chairs remind me of that.
So just walking around, I noticed that there are tons of cars in driveways, and usually, you know, at certain times of the day, the driveways are empty, and it seemed like a significant observation and very specific to this time.
Yeah, that's great. I love that little note there. That's great. Oops. Is that it? No,
maybe.
Don't we have more people? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, that there's more. There's two or three more of mine, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
It stopped going, so maybe
Weird.
I wasn't on the right thing. Okay.
So
Sorry.
that's my wonderful husband, and he's using this time to build an extension onto the vegetable garden in our backyard.
So am I.
That's what a lot of people are doing. Yeah. It seems like gardening is happening a lot more. Like we're gonna have, like, homes are gonna be improved by their owners. Gardens will be expanded.
I'm building old man vegetable beds, so they're 2 feet high, my beds now. But I didn't realize how much you have to shovel to fill 4 of those things. Oh my goodness, I am sore.
Yeah. And this is just another woman in the neighborhood, and she's also gardening, and it, again, people doing home improvement stuff during this time.
Great.
And then that's a park nearby, and the people who are walking by are not in the park.
Okay.
they're walking by the park on the other side. It's like it's just a little tiny like place for kids to hang out.
Is that in Rankin Valley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sky something, I think is it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the one up, yeah, got it. Yeah, so there's the regular walkway. They can still use the walkway though, but just not the equipment?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And Luke's not here, so I'm just gonna run through his. I'm guessing Marilyn took that one for him. Here's my favorite though, right? So this is the one that shows, this is a beautiful pandemic shot. Just I'm running out too, so that that palette of that stuff is really important to me. But I like that he turned it in black and white. It sort of has this old-fashioned-y feel too. But I really love it. In this case, he went low. I'm wondering if he went a little higher to eliminate more of that light at the top, but I can't quibble or even go
I love
like,
that it says good living above it.
no, isn't this great?
And it says it says what, healthiest personal solutions. I mean,
how did he find this? And a pallet of toilet paper too at the same time. This is like,
you're so jealous.
I got an assignment to shoot Costco and I got in line thinking, okay, I'm going to shop Costco, but I'll videotape the whole experience and then it'll give me an excuse to do it on work time. But they called me off and I had to do another assignment. So, but yeah, I think if you come down a little bit on that, if you cropped it right down to the top of good living, that might have helped it. But, and then, so Luke's shot of the balance didn't really work out. He just did his trailer, his point. But look at this one. See, like this Rayleigh's, wherever it is perfect. I don't know which direction it's pointing, but he, as I wrote to him, you know, he gets a better grade for the other one because he got this one. So sometimes it is just a matter of luck, you know, that we're out there at that time. But you know, if you're a professional photographer, you want to be able to actually make sure that you're, you know, you're doing it. I like that he's the only one I think who went for an open freeway. And Azelia, can you speak? Right, you're
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
No, you're fine.
So, did you want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
Or my boyfriend's a tattoo artist, but all the tattoo shops are closed right now. And all of his stuff is like set up there, like his drawing and everything. So we've been having to like do like makeshift tables for him to work on. And he's bringing his art supplies home.
Mm-hmm. I wrote to you about this, so don't say anything. But if you saw the comments on yours. But you guys, if you see the light on him now and you see where the light's coming from, does anybody have a suggestion? How about somebody hasn't talked? I'm going to pick somebody, except I can't see everybody in my frame. Who hasn't said anything? Hey, Sean, can you unmute? You can do it. Great. So remember our first assignments. What do you think about the light hitting him?
It's called the
well, she's shooting towards the light. Where would you move to get, say, like the half light or 3/4 light from the window you see? Can you see where the window is?
Yeah, to the right.
The right. So if we keep moving around to the right side and shoot maybe over the top of the blue water, whatever the blue water is, or from that angle, you would have that same light that was hitting Alden in the bed shot. So the light would be coming in from the side and the other side was dark. In this case, she's exposing for the dark side of the face. And it's still, to me, it's still a lovely shot. I love it. I just would have liked to have seen what it looked like from that other angle. So, thanks, Sean. Gotta click on it. That's why I couldn't do it before. Go ahead, Azelia.
I live in a house with 7 other roommates, and one of them, we'd been talking about getting a puppy for a while, and well, this couple that lives here, and they decided that this would be the best time to get a puppy because they'll have lots of time to take care of it. So we got a Dalmatian in the house now, which is kind of cool.
So how big is it going to be?
It's like a standard, so it's
Okay.
gonna get pretty big, I think.
Do you guys take it out for walks or?
They do. We don't do that. We leave everything up to them. It's their dog, but we get to play with it, so that's kind
So
of
it
nice.
may come back at you. I think they're going to go with my story on new puppies because I know 3 people who have gotten puppies so far. So I may have to come and ask you if I can.
Sure, you can totally use it if you want.
There is a miniature border collie with the most amazing blue eyes, about that big, that came by the front of the house the other day. I had to run out and say that. Okay, sorry. You see that it was really yellow before, so I'm just sort of playing with it a little bit to see what we can do here. But beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna get out of this. Puppy down here. All right. Go ahead.
Oh, it was a dinner we had with the roommates.
You guys always eat like this?
No, so my roommate, the one in the white shirt, she unfortunately got a studio in Oakland, and we've been living together for like 4 years. So we had a going away dinner party for her. But she's been here like ever since because she has to be like completely alone up there and she doesn't have anyone to be with. So she's been here a lot.
Right. Good. Click on this.
You guys always eat like this? That's funny.
I know. Look at that food. You got great drink, great everything. I cut out some of you. I think you had a ton of them, so I cut out. I just got.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah.
One of my roommates got a stripper pole in her room. She doesn't use it for like stripping, but it's good exercise, and all of us have kind of given it a go and played around with it, and it's been fun. So.
About 10 years ago, the big thing was Pilates. Yeah. And my neighbor came to me 10 years ago and said, "John, can you help? I need to mount this pole in my front room." That he got a removable one, though.
Yeah.
So
that's what we have too.
I had to help him install a stripper pole, and they had a little daughter too that was my daughter's age. And one day I went over and she was on it, and it was just wrong. So,
I mean, it doesn't. It's actually like really good.
This is for my aerial equipment. Can you guys see that?
Oh, you're an aerial.
This is my aerial silks.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. If we owned our house,
I have all this
stuff. Of course you do aerial silks too. Okay. That's good. I love there was another shot that she submitted with her on the pole, but I just think this one was just spectacular. So good job.
Here's the puppy.
I may just have to use this one in the photo gallery for the puppy stuff anyway, because look at how beautiful that photo is.
That's amazing.
I love that photo.
Just hanging on the couch.
Totally says the story. I love your windows too.
Playing music.
You guys, what would you like? I wanted something more out of this photo. It's so close. What do you think? Anybody want to throw it out there? Okay. Well, I suggested more of a horizontal because the black woman's out of focus. So I really need that guitar to see the guitar more or something. So if you can imagine it horizontal where you have the guitar on the far right side, and even tilt it a little bit so that she's right up on that left side corner. So
I know I have more. I don't know why I picked that one, but I have a bunch from this like scene.
Yeah, you might want to just see. I mean, you got a good grade anyway, but you know.
That's my bunny. His name is Bun Man. He's like a free roam bunny, so he hangs out in the room. And then I think the rest is self-explanatory, just watching Netflix and TV and that kind of thing. This is a roommate of mine. She's actually aspiring to be a musician, like a professional musician, and she got on a show called Mexico's Got Talent, which is like really similar to American Idol, but it's like all in Spanish.
Cool. Oh, this must be a great time for her too, to, you know, just practice. So
yeah.
Where am I? And go ahead.
Just my friend sleeping.
There's something about this one too, you guys, that just says, you know, middle of the day, taking a nap, just all huddled up. It just says COVID to me. I don't know if it's actually, you know, that way.
Well, there's been a lot of sleeping and like taking naps and like not really knowing what to do with ourselves in the house. Everyone except for me is unemployed right now, so.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, that must be tough.
Yeah.
You had this one as your first image?
What?
You had this one as your first image? We're going backwards. Did you put it there on purpose? Did you think this was your, I'm just wondering what you thought this photo said.
No, I just liked it. And
okay, I do
it's
too.
kind of like,
wondering if there was a,
you see the house in the background and that we're not really supposed to go out right now. So I thought maybe it was part of that.
Sure. I'm slow, so quite often I don't understand, so you have to explain.
I think it was more just artistic or whatever, but yeah.
I like it. Yeah, it was a beautiful photo. So yeah, it is a beautiful photo. So thanks. And these are Sean's. Can you
copy it?
Okay, good. So this one,
yeah,
was Sean's original shot, and then I went in there. Do you see the difference in the photos? Just straight to them. The funny thing is, I always tell Sean he's shooting too tight and he needs to show me environment, and then I just change it to a tight shot. So what am I doing? Good. And tell me about that one.
It's a mask. Someone just tossed it on the ground.
For some reason, the perspective on the mask, it looks like a bag to me, like it's a giant bag. I didn't even get that it was a mask, but now that you
I didn't want to touch it, you know. I could.
So, I don't blame you for not wanting to touch that.
Yeah.
And where was this?
That's my TV, and my sister just, you know, was cleaning the apples.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say bravo, bravo, bravo. I love this photo. So great photo, really good image, man. I really like it a lot. So great that you had it, that there's black behind it so you can see the spray.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you can even see the wipe that she's holding the bag with. Like, you can see it all.
Yeah, isn't that great? I don't know if you guys, there's, who came out with there's a few different new how to shop for grocery stories out there. And things are changing a lot on how to shop for groceries, by the way, so. And, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, she's my mom, and I just wanted to capture her gloves.
And is this the delivery of the HelloFresh ingredients?
No, it just a random box.
Okay, it isn't like the food that's coming in. Just remember, I don't know if I've told you guys, if people attribute deeper meaning to your photos than what you had, just say yes, okay? Just, I meant to do that, yes. So.
Okay.
Good.
Golf course.
Where is this?
Bennett Valley.
Where?
Bennett Valley.
Bennett Valley. Do you know what park?
Just golf course.
Oh, it's a golf
course.
Bennett Valley golf course.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. I mean,
I like this one a lot. I love that you included the date on there too.
So if you see this in the newspaper with my name on it, you should take credit, okay? If I go back and reshoot this one.
How does one do that, John?
Huh?
How does
Just
one do that?
go online in the comments and say, you know, he stole my idea underneath.
And that's in Costco.
That's in Costco. Great shot. Great shot. He, well, let me show you. So this is, I kind of like the stretching and everything, but this one really tells a story. So you see the whole line and everything. And so he's spread out a little bit. That's great.
See Costco.
And what is she doing there?
She was like just showing her receipt.
Oh, I see. The person, she's a shopper. She looked like a Costco employee for me. Okay.
Yeah. No.
I haven't been there, so I don't know how it works.
Don't they like check your receipt to make sure you haven't stolen anything? Is that what
Yeah.
that was? Yeah.
Right, but there's a new system where you have to put it up to a plexiglass, it looks
Right.
like. So the person's protected now. So I didn't know they had that. So I'm gonna have to go shoot that one too. So you can catch me for 2 photos I stole from you. Who's this? Oops, I forgot who this was. This is Griffin. Can you talk? I think it's Griffin. I guess not. Griffin, I'll comment. I'm guessing that's her sister. And does anybody see a photo in there that they want to see? Like especially the background. What background would you use? Anybody? Well, I love the wall of faces up there. It'd be to the left, the upper left. So if you moved right and shot her with the wall of faces, I think that'd be a cleaner background. And then I thought it'd be a really fun portrait if you filled the frame with the wall of faces, right? And then you have the subject just raise her head up in front of it until she sort of becomes one of the faces, and just make sure you focus on her, and you would have a whole really tight frame of all that. I don't know why, it just seems like it would be cool. Looks like her dad bringing back the groceries. I love the light coming through the car. Cows and mom hanging out with the pooch, and I thought, okay, I'd love to see this one from the front, but it turns out she shot it from the front and it's just a white wall behind her, so she had to change the angle. Oh, so this one I went tighter instead of, do you see that the whole bottom half, well, pajamas, maybe the pajama, yeah, I'd keep the bottom in. Pajamas work.
Hi, it's me.
Okay.
Shelly. That's us. Last week.
Oh, I was going to say we should have all worn our masks because we're fewer than 6 feet apart on my screen. No.
That's that torrential downpour we had on Sunday. That just like came in and flooded everything in minutes. So, and this was my favorite shot, and I think this was one of your favorites too. The empty freeways, the rain, the whole thing. Yeah.
So you guys, when this ends, when we finish our final project, I'm gonna propose to well, we'll definitely do a gallery at the paper, but I think I'll propose that we have a selection of your photos, like as just a features photo page. So, you know, keep working on them and you'll get in the newspaper. Like this will be perfect for it. We've got a lot of good shots, so I think that they'll buy it if I propose it, but we'll see.
You know what, actually, this was, the newspaper at point, like said, hey, send in your photos of stuff you're doing, you know, and so I just was like following my family around working in the yard. I didn't submit it to the paper, but I was just trying to do something different with that tool. I was killing it. I just did this perspective because so many people, I have kids at home, so everybody's doing home learning, so I just thought this was interesting.
Who's making these?
Well, I painted one.
Okay.
So we did a paint along online, and it came out to this. So, and then we hung them up in the windows. We might drop them off at the hospital or something.
Awesome.
Which one's yours?
Online, huh?
Mine was the big one. My kids, to kill time, went and started digging around in an empty lot in Coffee park, and all of a sudden they came across a pile of old toys. So this is the collection from a giant hole.
Did they unbury them?
Yeah, they unburied them. They were just digging holes to ride their bikes around and make jumps, and they started coming across this big pile of toys. So one by one, I just said, don't find some old bones or something, please. So that was the story behind those. My kid killing time, and I was riding alongside him, normal 2 wheels, and he did this, and I'm just yelling, please don't break your arms again. Both arms. And then my daughter went out and played, this is a 3/4 bass, and she went out and just started playing on Saturday night on the front porch, and actually nobody came and listened, but a few neighbors around heard it. so anyway, I wanted to include this one to show the perspective that we were just kind of out in the street.
I love it.
Family. Shh. And then this is the angle of her playing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is she back there making that noise?
Yeah, they're all making noise downstairs.
No
we say
way.
be quiet, and then they're like, yeah. So I took a ton of pictures, and I didn't really understand what angle you wanted differently on this, but
I'm not sure either. But I like your husband back there sitting on the porch with her there. I think you may have got the only angle you can get. I think maybe if I went over his shoulder, back near the fence, so that he was in the foreground and she was behind, but she's probably going to be hidden by the pole. So
no,
I don't think that would work. I don't know. Or maybe an open door and then you shot through the door out more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm always looking. The first picture is beautiful. I think it's the one. And I'm always looking for that twist, so it's
I tried, because it was a good opportunity, to just play with,
Right.
And then this one was inspired from your pictures from the newspaper a couple days before, because I had been going around to the breweries and taking pictures, and then you had pictures in the paper from the breweries. And I was like, darn it, he beat me to it. Okay. But yeah, so this was just doing pickups of one of the breweries.
Were you picking up? Is that why you were there?
Yeah, that's Darren picking up. And then we went out to Napa to a distillery too. So, but I didn't include those, but yeah. So, and then this was getting gas. I just took it myself. I had one dirty hand, one clean hand, and
you can shoot left-handed like that? That's pretty impressive.
did. I shot left-handed, and that's actually my bag from the newspaper that day.
Ah, they serve. Mine always go for poop bags, but And then oh, I forgot whose these were. Unmute. Let me look so that, oh, there you go, Anne. Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. That one's not mine.
Okay. By the way, hey, how are you?
I'm alive.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm alive, but it's been rough. I mean, I got a respiratory virus. I mean, long story short, my tenants here have had it. My husband, my oldest, like 6 of us have had it, but I seem to go from a mild to moderate kind of scary case. And I got tested, and I tested negative, but then I was having all sorts of breathing issues, shortness of breath, pressure, like every COVID symptom that's out there. And so I've talked to my doctor, my one doctor said, yeah, you probably got a false negative, because I guess 30% of the nasal swab tests are false negative. And then I talked to a second doctor yesterday who said that the swab tests are only good at the start of the virus, and then it moves into your lungs. And he said, yeah, I think you have it. So I'm waiting for an antibody test to know for sure, but it has been one hell of a thing to, like, I'm still not, every time I think I'm past it, I do too much. And then the next day I've got a fever again, or I'm exhausted and my chest is all messed up again. So it really wreaks havoc on your lungs. If I don't have it, I do not want to get it right now, because it would not be good. But until Sunday, I have been homebound, like not even able. I made one quick trip to my office because I'm still Zooming classes and I had to get some papers. And I just snuck in there for a few minutes and grabbed some files, and that's when I shot a picture. But I went out for the first time on Sunday, and I went to the farmer's market, and we happened to drive by, and their Easter bunny was doing a social distance wave on the sidewalk. And I yelled at my husband to pull over, and by the time I ran back there, the Easter bunny was in his or her car, its car. So I only got a car shot, but the Easter bunny was doing like home visits and from the sidewalk waving at little kids. So that was kind of my spot news.
I think we got that in the paper. I think we had that story.
Okay, my husband had asked me to cut his hair, and then I was like getting ready to do that, and he just went to town, and he literally butchered. I was taking pictures and laughing my head off because he has kind of like a bald spot now in front, and I tried to fix it. You should have seen it right after. It was just butchered. And then he's like, okay, you got to do the back of my neck. And I've never cut hair. And so it's like a curvy line at best. It's pretty bad.
And it's great. This is a great shot. It'll definitely make the final cut, I think, you know.
Yeah.
Shot. So it definitely tells the story.
Yeah, and then dogs have kept me sane, and these two are constantly out fighting and playing, and I just, the light was great, and I was just shooting them in shutter priority mode because they were fast. Mm-hmm. This is when I've had bursts of energy. I've been working on this wine barrel garden. This is Ava, and she's loves plants, and so I wanted a person in my picture, so I got her when she was watering. This is going backwards, so that's as I've gotten better, I'm out. This is my book club.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love the book next to it too. Great job.
Yeah.
Maybe you should talk to someone
about.
Yeah, I know. It's ironic. Maybe you should talk to someone. It's a therapist writing about going to therapy while giving therapy, which is kind of ironic. Yeah, that's the oak leaf. And I went there and I was just going to grab a file, and I saw the magic 8-ball that we ask all sorts of questions of, you know, big and small. Should we do this? Should we not? And I saw the whiteboard with all the plans and everything in progress, and I got really sad. Like, I just realized that some of these students who've been there for 2 years might not ever come back in that room. Like, they're graduating, and it just made me really, it was just like life interrupted. It's all clean, it's empty, you know. It made me really sad. And I know that's not really conveyed, but it's just kind of life interrupted.
No, I definitely stopped on that. And there's your test, Tom.
Yeah, that was my test. Very painful test. I don't recommend it.
I hear if it's not painful, it definitely won't work. So.
Yeah, I know. Well, apparently I needed a bronchial test. I have been living with this thing. Because when my lungs are bad, I do my one night, I almost went to the hospital because I was having trouble breathing. I didn't want to go because I just watched 60 Minutes and this New York hospital. And so I was like, I do not want to go there. And my son, who was a firefighter for 3 years, he called his fire family, and they dropped an oxygen saturation monitor in the mailbox that night. And so I've been using that to just like, because I can't go anywhere to get my lungs listened to. Everything's by Zoom unless I go to the hospital, but if I don't have it, then I'm really susceptible. So I've just been monitoring this and using an inhaler, and I've kind of joked, I think it's the next photo, I've been doing Eastern medicine, Western medicine, and West County medicine, which I have been trying to do a little of everything every day. And it was such a huge collection that I just lined it all up on my windowsill and took a shot of it.
The collection, great.
Yeah, different teas and this and that, manuka honey and acupuncture stuff and inhaler and thermometer and, you know.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. That was great, you guys.
Yeah,
I really like what we're doing so far. And then hopefully that this inspired some of you and we can come up with some new, you can come up with ideas like me. I'm going to steal them from everybody here. So just steal those ideas and see how it works. So again, let me make sure, Natasha, you didn't figure out how to get this to work? Are you there? You can chat me if you can't. Looks like you can't.
I think she said something.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
She said, I sent you a private message, but my laptop is having issues.
Yeah, sorry, I've got my...
Yeah, it says laptop will take 25 minutes.
Okay. Natasha, let's do it this way. You can present it to me or something at another time. And we'll call it a day for now, you guys. Hold on, I gotta get rid of that. Just close that chat. Okay, and again, I'm hopefully gonna finish that video tonight. And so you'll get another email message from me, but next week it's only this jumping assignment. And everybody stay safe and stay stress-free if you can.
When are we gonna turn in more COVID, life in COVID? Like,
let's look at, sorry, we have food next week. Let's do 2 weeks again. So let's do the 28th, okay? I'll talk to you about it next week. But just sort of always keep it in mind is the idea. You don't, you don't have to spend like all your energy on the COVID thing, but as things come up, but in the end, what you want to do is probably have 10 good images is what I want to see. So it's really fun to see these first ones. A lot of people are doing a great job. And then other people, hopefully you get some new ideas. So, and again, your photo essay on this could be kids doing sidewalk art, things like that, if you're able to find enough images. So, there's no box that's going to contain you for this assignment. So, again, look for my email and I'll see you all next week. Okay. And I'll post this chat for the couple people who didn't make it too. So,
okay. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.